Alright everybody, today we're going to be reviewing the monster that started it all, the Sig Sauer SP2022. At the age of 22, I decided that it was time for me to get a firearm to protect my home. After hours of extensive research, this is the choice that I ended up making. While I hadn't really heard any bad things about all the other major manufactured firearms, I heard nothing but good things about Sig Sauer. And I have been overjoyed with all the results that I have experienced with this firearm. So let's get down to the basics. Much like a Glock 19, this firearm holds 15 and 1. However, compared to a Glock, we do have a little bit of extra length right here on the overall slide length, just because of the beaver tail. The Glock does have a slightly longer barrel. However, height-wise, the Sig does have a little bit of a longer handle. While there definitely are a bunch of people who conceal a Glock 19, I also hear of a lot of people who conceal carry the Sig SP22 as well. It being slightly taller, I don't know that it would make it a great option for conceal carry. However, I'm not going to knock anybody who does it. So let's get down to the trigger. In double action, the Sig has about a 10-pound trigger pull. And yeah, that's kind of a lot. Now in single action, you only have about a 4.2 to 4.4 pound trigger pull. And it's nice and crisp every time. The reset on it is actually not that bad. The first time I ever fired this gun, I thought I had broken it because you cannot feel that trigger reset, so you kind of have to get used to it. Another feature this firearm has is that we have a decocker. So if you have a round in the chamber and you don't want it to fire, you just pull down on this lever right here and it will release your hammer and release your trigger back to a 10-pound trigger pull, and you don't have to worry about the round going off in the chamber. I know for a lot of first-time firearm owners, safety is a big thing. However, being that this thing has a decocker on it, it kind of gives you a little bit of peace of mind. Also, if you have a holster, you really don't have to worry about it, because if you can't pull the trigger, the firearm's not going to go off. Now, if you look at the barrel here, we've kind of polished this portion of it. Now, while it doesn't take that long to do that, on a lot of firearms, this one has seen probably close to 14,000 rounds. Got a little groove worn into that part of the barrel right there. There's a little bit worn underneath it right there. Yeah, so the reason this thing has seen 14,000 rounds is because this is the firearm I have taken everybody who wants to fire a firearm for their first time out to the range with. This is my go-to first-time new user-friendly firearm. And because it has seen 14,000+ rounds without a failure to fire, without a failure to feed, without a stovepipe, that's one of the big reasons why I trust this firearm so much. Another cool feature about this is that it has a round indicator. If you have a round in the chamber, that indicator is going to pop up. So if you're a first-time gun owner and you walk up to it and you see that that indicator is sticking up, you know for a fact that there is a round in that chamber. That can be quite comforting sometimes. One of the few things that I have done to this firearm to make it a little better is that I have had the ramp polished. Around 5,000 or 6,000 rounds through it, it started getting little skitter marks, kind of like you have right here. I know that's not a technical term, but we're going with it. So what was happening was that as the ammo was feeding up the ramp, it was sitting there kind of jumping up and down whenever it was going in, and you could actually feel that whenever the slide would go forward. After having that ramp polished, we haven't had a problem with it since. Another notable feature about the SP2022 is the aggressive 1913 accessory rail. I have yet to find anything that will not go on there, so that's kind of a plus. Now, I know what y'all might be thinking. We're talking about a Sig Sauer 9mm. We have an accessory rail. We have a decocker. We have a round indicator. We have a single action, double action trigger, 15 round magazine, 3-dot sight. Must cost an arm and a leg. Well, when I bought it, they were only $399.99 at Academy. And at that price, I wasn't going to argue at all. However, I have heard that they are a little more pricey these days, and they are still in production. They just don't get out as much. But I want to say that right now they're running about $630 to $650, and even still, worth every penny to me. They produced the SP2022 in both 9mm and 40. Now, when I bought this one, you could find them pretty much everywhere. Any store you went into, Academy, Cabela's, Bass Pro Shop. They might have even had these in Walmarts back then, but you went into any store and they would be there. They were in just about every store. You don't really see them much anymore, but they still do get around. Sig did make a PDW kit that was actually produced by Sig for the SP2022. However, I never came across one, so pretty much as soon as they came out, they were sold out. They do have a couple of aftermarket PDW kits. I believe K-Post and Roni even might make one for the SP2022 as well. These things became pretty synonymous with reliability. A lot of people did general reviews of these things, and a lot of people were calling it a diamond in the rough, and yeah, I can attest to that. Now, we're going to get into the takedown. To take this down, it's kind of best if you rack it all the way and lock it in place. And then kind of, with a reverse grip, grab your slide and squeeze to kind of release it. You have a square peg that goes through a square hole that is also a circle. LOL. And we're going to push that through from the back. See if there's the hole that you're going to push the pin through. You're just going to slide that out all the way and gently but firmly release with your hand that's holding the slide in place. And from there, you just kind of continue pushing out, and you're a majority of the way there. Go ahead and flip your slide and grab your slide pin. Hold on nice and tight so that thing doesn't fly away, as happened once or twice. And remove your spring and your slide pin. As you can see, this thing is plastic, and it has, after thousands of rounds, kind of worn away a little bit, but I still trust it. And after that, you just pull out your barrel and you're fully field stripped right there. It's a little easier to see some of the wear on this barrel. After thousands of rounds, you kind of have all those skitter marks there, and have some skitter marks here, and definitely polished up here. A little bit worn on this side, a little bit worn on this side, but still in good shape. Oh, you got your polished portion of the ramp. Alright, let's go ahead and reassemble it. First, we're going to take our barrel, put it in the slide, knock it back. We're going to take our slide and our slide pin. We're going to thread them. You do have a alignment peg right there that goes into the bottom portion of the barrel right here. So you're just going to thread that through there and squeeze, and make sure you hear that audible click. Take your handle and your slide, carefully line them back up. You're going to insert the pin through the hole, and you also have another alignment dowel right here that has a hole right there. Gonna put it a majority of the way in so that you don't scratch the slide with this portion of the slide pin. We're gonna take it back to that square. Now pop it through, make sure it's in the hole, and you're done. It's range time, and I'm super excited, as always, to take this firearm out. So I've never even heard of these. The Sig has been able to put every kind of ammunition I've put through it downrange, no problem. So I'm going to continue that. Supposedly this is just repackaged Winchester that Bass Pro Shop put their own name on, so I'm going to try it out. This hits me right in my ADHD. Alright, SP2022, two 15-round magazines. Going hot. Round indicator up. I think we're going to go ahead and start at about 5 yards. Going down. Down and to the left, but the gripping overall is pretty good. Next, we're going to try to take it out to about 10 yards. Probably going to be a little less accurate because I am not that accurate at that range, but let's try it anyway. I'd still call that center mass, but a little more spread out. This time we're going to keep it at about 5 or 6 yards, and we're going to try to incorporate 1, maybe 2, 3 round burst.
Do me a favor, slow down the shots a little bit for me.
Gotcha. So not bad. Definitely kind of throws it off just a little bit. Oh no, we only had 10 rounds left. But what I was told is right. This is actually Winchester repackaged. Speaking of Winchester, I happen to have an extra 150 rounds. And yes, they are steel. Did I mention this thing can take just about any kind of ammo and put it through it? So we're gonna do 2 sets of 10. Still staying on target. Probably be our last man. Yeah, it's never the last magazine, and there's always a target. So let's go ahead and do one more magazine. Not bad. All right, so let's break it down. Definitely needs some cleaning, but let's see if we can get it to focus. Doesn't really get all that dirty, even with steel ammo, which is actually kind of pretty nice. She's got some residual here, but that's to be expected. So yeah, in conclusion, that this is one of the main reasons I love this gun so much. It will take anything you throw at it, and it'll perform every time. I've always been very, very satisfied with this purchase. For it being my first firearm, I couldn't have asked for a better one. If you're looking, I highly recommend it. Definitely got quite a bit of buildup on the inside of the barrel. Alright, now that we got that all cleaned up and put it all back together, well, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you're in the market for a firearm and you don't know where to look, I highly recommend the SP2022. It's got a great feel in the hand. It's got just about everything you could want in a firearm, especially a first firearm. And while it might not be as cheap as it used to be, it's probably one of the most reliable handguns I've ever put my hands on. So it will be there if you need it.